Okay, hold position. So you can watch. Pretty good range on the Broodlord. 9.5. So they launch out and then they attack, and they last for I think 10 seconds or so. And so it's just great. It's a little bit of bonus damage that your Broodlord gets to do, as well as damage that your army won't have to take by the Broodlord sucking it up. It really screws with the opponent's AI. So where did I put all those overlords? So here's a couple overlords, and this is something that players refer to as a creep highway. So I want to show you how to do it real quick. So your overlords have this generate creep ability, right? So we're going to generate some creep, and then we're going to bring them here. So I want one to go here. I'm going to shift click, another there, shift click, another here, shift click, another here. And so what you're going to see is they're going to all spawn that creep, and then if they all drop down the creep and I want to bring my units to my opponent's base quickly, I can select all my units and then I can bring them down here, and it takes a little bit of time to do it, but I can just shoot my units across really quick on this creep highway, and then they all move with that bonus speed until I get to my opponent's base. And then, you know, it's quick, but they're slower then, but they have that creep highway. So you can set that up with your overlords, or you can, you know, continue to use your creep tumors to spread it, which are great because your creep tumors will give you vision. So you can see these creep tumors are giving me vision to everything around here, and that's what all of them do. So you can spread them out in multiple directions to help you do that. And then I want to show you a couple other things with the Infestor and the Roach. So the Roach, oh, we have to get Burrow. I'll research the Burrow, and that'll take a minute. And so you have your upgrades at your Spire, your land upgrades at your Evolution Chamber. I would recommend getting multiple Evolution Chambers or multiple Spires. Your Hydralisk has its Groove Spines, which increase the attack range. Now these are really important in a lot of matches because the Marine starts with a 5 range, but the Stalker and the Marauder, which are common units of your opponent, start with a 6 range. And so if a Marauder and a Stalker have 6 range and your Hydras only have a 5 range, they'll get to have 2 lines of units attacking your 1 line of unit, which it can make them do double as much damage as they should. Whereas if you have the upgrade, you can attack them at the same time they can attack you. So you'll start doing damage at the same time, and you'll have the same size lines fighting each other, which is really, really important. So I think the Burrow should almost be done. And so Burrow is an ability that all your Zerg units that are ground units have, and some units like the Infestor and the Roach have the ability to move while burrowed, and you don't even have to research it for the Infestor. But the Roach you do have to research it for. It's that second research item. So let's see. So here's the Burrow, and it says B for both, but it's actually a different key to burrow and unburrow. And so right now, this unit that's burrowed is invisible. So both these units are invisible. You can tell they move a little slower. The Infestor is actually rather fast while burrowed, and they're allowed to do some sneak attacks. So they can't move past enemy structures, but they can, or enemy units that are blocking their way, but they can move around them. And so this is very effective when you're trying to do a sneak attack on an opponent's base. Like, you could burrow down here and sneak all the way in around here and get to their mineral line, and if you have the Infestor, you can pop up some infested Terran, or if you have the Roaches, just get a Roach, get some Roaches in the middle of this mineral line, and then all of a sudden pop up and you can start doing a lot of damage. So that's really effective. And the Infestor can't do the fungal growth spell or the neural parasite while burrowed, so you'll have to unburrow. But it is you know, nice to be able to burrow and move. And then all your units can burrow, even the giant Ultralisk. So it's pretty effective. So remember, Hydralisks are good versus anti-air. Broodlords and Ultralisks are your major hit units. Your Infestors are your spellcasters. They're very weak, but they have devastating spells. Fungal growth is super devastating. We have a video on that. Neural parasite's very effective. We have a video on that as well. And then Speedlings, they're just so great for harass because they can cover the map so quickly. One of my favorite things to do as Zerg is, if you have a little pressure on your base, get a pack of 10 or 20 Zerglings and run them to your opponent's base and get them back in that mineral line and just wreak havoc on that mineral line. Your opponent might pull his troops back from the attack. He might not pull his troops back, but then if he does damage your base and you can still fend him off, then your Zerglings have probably done as much or more damage to his base. Or if you're late game and you have multiple expansions across the map, just use those Zerglings to harass those expansions so your opponent has to put defense in several locations, and then you can have one big force that kind of moves around and tramples him. A couple things you got to watch out for are planetary fortress. If your opponent has that, it can really devastate your Zerglings. And then just blockades. Any kind of blockade will just, you know, dominate your Zerglings, because they can't fight in straight lines very well. They have to surround. So let's watch these units go at the attack. You can see the computer GG'd right there. And it's a really great game. The Zerg have to be used fast and rapidly. They have to expand quickly, and then you really want to use their speed to their advantage, because that's the most important part about that race. So remember to constantly expand that creep, because that will give you a huge advantage in the game. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and you can go to theuen.com for more tips and tricks and strategies for Zerg and all units. Thanks for listening.